the Utah Utes did land some positive news with a commitment from a big get, not just because every transfer portal commits a big get, but because he is a big guy. Who am I talking about? An offensive tackle in Cedric Jefferson, who was at Montana State this last year. He only allowed 23 pressures in his career for a rate of 3.9%. That's according to the Utah Utes Football Digest there. So 6'4", 265, a starter. Look, he's got to prove he can make the FCS transfer to P4 transfer. He'll be in a competition to start, and we'll see how Jordan Gross does with him. But with how much Utah lost up front, they almost can't add enough offensive linemen to me, Matt. So I like this addition.
Oh, I love it. I actually have really enjoyed what the Utes have been doing in the portal. And this one, I agree with you. This one really excites me. You look at a lot of these guys that transfer from the FCS level, especially linemen, they seem to make the transition pretty well, especially if they had good success before. And just like those numbers that you were just rattling off, this guy doesn't allow many guys to get past him. And he's big, he's strong, he's developed, to where I think I was looking at it and I saw he was 265 pounds coming out of high school. So he beefed up, put on another 35 pounds, and he's now just the right size. He comes from a championship team, and so he's got that winning mentality. This is the kind of guy you want to have at one of your tackle spots.
It absolutely is. And who knows, maybe he kick inside to guard. I mean, he's very big, but
yeah,
it's just another, it's tough to play at that next level at the tackle spot. I'd love to see him do it, but we've seen guys 6'4" before, 265 also find that success at guard too. So I'm very curious to see. Steve Bartle of KSL Sports did report as well that other P4 programs pursued him. So this is a nice get for Utah, especially a team that's obviously losing a lot to another P4 program, as we mentioned. So the fact that we are beating out some for a guy is a positive trend for this team. I am so fascinated to see what this offensive line looks like next season. And obviously Utah still has more work to be done in the portal. A guy like a Brandon Sneha, who was a UAB transfer, 6'6.5", 312 pounds. He's still available. He was reportedly taking a visit to Utah. And he's still in the portal. So that'd be another addition I'd be excited about. But to me, the only guy I look at right now and I go, you're probably going to be a starter is Keith Olsen for how he did in the bowl game. It just was a pretty, not seamless because it's Spencer Fano he's replacing, but the offensive line still looked dominant with Olsen in there. So I think he's ready to go. But outside of that, right, is Isaiah Garcia ready? The former 4-star. Roger Alderman's a guy who saw some snaps as that 6 offensive lineman. Is he ready? Isaiah Kemma, the former Ohio State transfer, but he hasn't played much football either. So look, it's pretty clear. Utah had one of the 5 best offensive lines in college football. They will not have that next season. But if they can just get back to having a solid Big 12 offensive line with the skill position talent they return and a quarterback and especially running back, Matt, I feel like if this offensive line is just good enough under Jordan Gross, this Utah team can win a lot of games next year.
Yeah. And we were talking about the schedule a little bit before we jumped on this. They've got a great schedule, several good matchups. Most of their difficult matchups will be at home next year. And yeah, they've got the good players. When you replace an entire starting offensive line, what you especially want is a soft schedule early so that these guys can learn to play together, because it's one thing to do it in practice, but when you actually get on the field, then it gets a little more difficult. And for the Utes, the good thing is they do get to have Utah State and Idaho early on. So you get a couple of those, but you do have a tough game against Arkansas. But yeah, I agree. There's some other guys too. I'd heard rumors that Zero Williams and who was the other one?
Does he have another year of eligibility?
The Williams and Harrison, that's who it was, are both working on getting waivers.
Wow.
To possibly come back. So if those two can also come back, which might explain why Utah hasn't added more than one, big offensive lineman addition. I have heard rumors that there's a good chance that they'll be able to get that waiver and be able to come back. So if those two can come back, that's really big. Williams, due to injury, hasn't had as much experience out there, but that would be really big if you get those two back.
He looked really good, and Williams did in the bowl game. Let's see.
In the bowl game,
Saw action just 2 games his freshman year, so redshirt there. Appeared in all 14 games in 22 along these special teams and O-line, so not there. 23 didn't see action, so he did play as a reserve in 8 games before suffering a season-ending injury. And then he played in each of the first 12 games in 25. So there's a path. how likely is it? And hard to say, but also some of these guys seem to get eligibility pretty easily. So we'll wait and see what happens there. But there's some nice pieces along the Utah offensive line. Like we said, we have to measure our expectations. And I didn't mention Kelvin Obot for a reason. Once again, I just don't think it's fair to expect his freshman to start like a Spencer Fano was able to do. That just is a very rare air. There's a reason he went on to be an Outland Trophy winner. That's just really hard to do. If he can do it, good for him. But I will wait and see. Thankfully, Utah did continue to add players in the transfer portal today as they landed a commitment from USF cornerback transfer James Chenault, and he's a guy who played 9 games, 32 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 4 pass breakups, according to Matt Zeinert. He did commit to Utah. And look, Utah lost Blake Cotton, Smith Snowden as well. Don Saunders ended up at Purdue. So Rock Caldwell came back. Elijah Scooby Davis is back. But I like the Utah's being aggressive in the portal. They've added a couple of defensive backs now, and if there's one position that I trust who Utah is going to add guys that I think will work out, it's cornerback because of Sharif Shaw's track record, Matt.
And I like what they're doing. I like how they're adding multiple guys. And the Chenault, the fun thing about him in those 9 games, so he had 2 interceptions, and those interceptions came 1 against Florida, against Lagway, and 2 Miami. So his 2 interceptions came against 2 very good teams, one team that's going to be in the national championship. So he's proven that he can face these P4 offenses.
He absolutely has been. And I'm curious to see what the starting combination will be for Utah this next season at defensive back. As I said,
a lot of options.
Elijah Scooby Davis, I'd pencil him in as a starter. But there's a lot of other guys in there that can do some things too. So Utah will continue to make moves to transport all week long. And as you made a great job of noting, Matt, that we're only going to see a couple more guys exit probably before that before the January 16th deadline. But if there's a position for you that Utah needs to add in the transfer portal, what is it? Because mine is absolutely tight end. Unless that Kevin McGivern just does not want to do anything with a tight end because Utah has lost everything in the tight end room, basically. But even Lance Holtzclaw, who is coming back to Utah, was like, tight ends, where are you at? Like, I'm just surprised if they're just going to completely from the tight end position, but they got no one. And I mean, no one. Sorry, freshmen and guys who redshirted that I feel good about right now. So tight end to me is the one position I really think they need to be aggressive in. Are you looking at another one, or is it tight end too?
You know, I've had some people on Twitter ask me about tight end, and just reading the room and seeing that they haven't been adding any tight ends tells me that either they're gonna go with the big guys, you know, kind of their what do they call it? Like I can't think of the name.
H-back or something else? What do you?
Yeah, well, yeah. Utah has a fun name for it though. It's basically the guy that just mashes.
Rhino?
Rhino. That's what it is. Rhino. Yeah, the Rhino thing. And if they do that, you know, then they're gonna keep using those big guys that they were wanting to use, like a Semi Tuolonga. I've heard some rumors that also they might be moving another guy over to tight end, like a Kenai Lopes or something like that. And then you got Hunter Andrews, hopefully coming back from his injury, but he was definitely being used more as a running back. So
that's the thing
to me, it's hard to know what to make of it. But I think because it's so they don't have anybody really there right now, but they haven't added anybody, it makes me go back to what you were just saying, that I think maybe the tight end won't be used the way that it has in the past, and that the receivers will be more used, and tight ends might be more of a blocking situation, and maybe you only need a one Hunter Andrews type receiving back, and then you just have a bunch of big rhinos that are blowing open holes for Wayshawn Parker and Dampier. To me, I'm actually most concerned about linebacker right now. I'd like to see them add a couple more there. I see some good ones. You know, you got John O'Hall. He's definitely got one locked up. Trey Reynolds should have another one, but I don't know. I look at the other spot and I'm like, well, you got Elijah Ellis maybe, but I'm hearing also he might end up at the end. Davis Andrews might come in at linebacker instead of, in the safety area. And then who else really?
Cyrus Polu. From last that's a lot for a sophomore.
So he certainly could. But yeah, I'd like to see just a little more depth at linebacker. And I think once you do that, then you just start adding pieces that make the team better.
And thank you for bringing up Hunter Andrews. I forgot him for a moment. There's 2 things with Hunter Andrews. Number one, he is coming off a season-ending injury. So it's just hard for me to go, big role in this team after season-ending injury. And also just say this, to be honest, because I hear a couple people like, oh, Buchanan's gone. It's fine. We got Hunter Andrews. he had less than 70 yards receiving next season. So I can't sit here and go, oh man, he's going to ball out. I know Dallin Bentley did it last year where he came out of nowhere and had a balled out, but it's hard for me to do that. And once again, also when you're coming off the season ending injury, but hey, you also brought up Semi Talonga. Let's just throw the ball to Semi Talonga every single play, be the most entertaining team in college football, and we'll all be happy. Let's get Semi Talonga the Heisman. This is where the campaign starts on this podcast right now. we would absolutely love to see it. This episode of Locked On Utes is brought to you by our friends at Wayfair. The new year is here, and it's the perfect time to reset your routine and refresh your space. If you're spending more time at home, you might as well love how it looks and feels. That's why you should turn to Wayfair. It's a one-stop shop for getting your home back on track. From bedding and mattresses to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair makes it easy to start the year fresh. Wayfair has everything you need to full home refreshes all in one place. Whether you're updating your living room, organizing your space, or upgrading your work from home setup, Wayfair's huge selections make it easy to find exactly what works for your style and your budget. I love that I could find the pieces that match my style without spending a fortune. Shopping is easy, delivers smooth, and everything arrives exactly as expected. It honestly made getting back into a routine this new year feel a lot more manageable. Get organized, refreshed, and back on track this new year for way less at wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home with Wayfair today.